Hi everybody, Ross and My Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well. News channel. Please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you know for any time we put new content on. Obviously, we have videos going up daily, but sometimes 2-3 times a day. And I wouldn't want you to miss any of the great stories, any of the great memories, any of the great players we speak about. So make sure you hit that bell icon. Today's guest, lifelong hammer, George Mann. Hi George, how are you?
Hello, Ross. How are you, mate? You well?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. How's lockdown treating you?
It's been okay. I quite enjoyed the lockdown part of it because I had to work from home and spent more time with my boy and my wife. And quite often when I'm at work, I get home and it's 7 o'clock. He doesn't want to go to bed, and I'm knackered. He's knackered. So it's been nice to have some quality time.
Yes.
I have to say I wasn't majorly missing the football in my life. Since it's come back, it's been fun to the West Ham guys have been connecting on Zoom every Sunday for quizzes. So we've kept in contact that way. But we watched the first couple of games on Zoom, and wasn't a wholly enjoyable experience. The Zoom was great, but the football less so.
Yeah, I know. But it's it's one of those things where someone said to me once, going to West Ham for the last couple of seasons has been a bit of a chore, but it's a chore they want to bring back. And although we moan about it, it gives us something new to talk about, doesn't it? Really,
it does. We kind of find you find ways every month to make it a bit better when you go over there, really. But we found a kind of an acceptable way, but it's never going to be what it was at Upton Park. It was never going to be what it was when you could stroll from the Black Lion to the ground at 20 and but it is what it is.
It is what it is, exactly. And that's my whole philosophy of life at the moment. I think it's put, to be honest, this whole thing that's happened in the last few months has really put football into perspective for me. Do you know what I mean? In terms of, it's a pastime, isn't it? Where I used to be so into it, and actually you got to think, a pandemic's happened, and it's great that it's come back. Doesn't matter what happens.
I think it's also the fact that I've turned down jobs because I won't be able to go to football. Jobs in America and stuff like that. I don't think I feel that way now because I think that bit of there was something so. I was born in Plaistow, and my grandparents and everyone else was from there. My parents, and there was something like so incredibly connected to your identity about going to the bowling, which is not there anymore. And I think that's kind of the main difference now. We've still got the mates, we still go, and it's not all been all bad at the Olympic Stadium because for the first time we've all been able to sit together. We've got a block of 16 of us together.
Oh wow!
But it's you're right. It's a chore. You want to come back. It'd be nice to be able to know you can walk up there, it's completely safe, COVID free, and watch a game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because it on a computer screen.
Exactly. Yeah, and when sort of chatting to your mates properly, and you're right. I mean, the football is. And it has always been secondary to West Ham fans because you wouldn't have been West Ham fans if football was the most important thing. It's about, as you said, sort of seeing your mates and your family connections and things like that. That's what's come through, particularly in this series. That sort of community feel. So obviously, I see people like Mark and stuff like that, and they say, "Oh, get George on," and I go, and that's what's great. It's sort of this recording all these memories of prosperity more than anything, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
So for you, George, obviously, we sort of alluded to it already. So you were sort of born into a West Ham family, really. So
I've often thought about this. I think because I think if I'd have chosen a team, it could have been either Wolves because I liked John Richards when I was growing up, or Man City because they had the same away. Their away kit was the same as my Cubs team, and I used to like And when I went up to university, I went to Lancaster. My roommate was a Man City fan, so I used to go to Main Road all the time when they were really terrible. But it was just never an option for me. My uncle, who's now 80, sort of took me to my first game, when I was 7, and it was always a thing. And I remember sort of sitting at the top of the stairs when my mum was talking. It was my mum's brother-in-law, and I was sitting at the top. I could tell what they were talking about. They were on the phone. And go, I'm not sure he's ready to go. And I was going, I'm ready to go. And it was just an amazing experience. The first time you go there, we went on the South Bank. Up game against QPR. It was all the cliches. The crowd was swinging from side to side. My feet didn't touch the ground, but I just thought it was absolutely exhilarating at that time.
Yeah.
We want, I was 7 when I went that first time in '75, and by the time I was 12, we had won the cup twice, got into Europe.
Yeah.
A year later in the League Cup final, so I thought it was all gravy, really. But obviously things have been a bit changed since then. But it was just a massive. It was just such a brilliant thing to be, a sort of a schoolboy West Ham fan. Even when we went down and whatever else, you just felt that you were really part of something.
Mm. Yeah, I know what you mean. As you say, they lulled you into a false sense of security, didn't they? Buggers.
But West Ham, but it's come round because a lot of the friends I have now. I mean, connections. When I went to, I work at the BBC and I worked at 5 Live for quite a long time, and I met mates through there because of West Ham. Because we were both going on our own. So we said, okay, let's go together. Then that group grew and grew and grew, and the group that's 16 now includes kids and things like that. So in that way, it's also given me it's not just the stuff that I got when I was a kid, but it's what I got in later life as well, and the people I met through that. So it is a fantastic thing.
Yeah, no, totally. And as you said, with the kids, with obviously your kids, and obviously the other 16, Mark's sons and stuff. As you said, it's going to hopefully continue and grow and grow and grow, which is absolutely brilliant. You'll be taking over the gaff soon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure my son's got the same sort of sense of identity because I think it's a different sport now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can watch it whenever you want. So, you don't have to go to a game to see a game.
No, you're true.
So, but we'll see how it goes. He was wearing his West Ham pajamas last night, and his mate was over, who's a Sunderland fan. And
poor guy.
He insisted on having the West Ham towel when he was drying off after the pool. So, yeah.
Fair enough. It does warm the cockles of your heart when my daughter and your son, opts to pick their West Ham kit. They have my daughter particularly has, as you can imagine, she's a 8-year-old Essex girl. She's got quite an array of outfits, but she picks her West Ham kit, and it gives me a sense of, there is a little bit in there.
Yeah.
And particularly,
I think my boy's quite contrary, but so he does play a lot of football, so it's all right. He can always wear it when he plays football. Yeah. Obviously, in the last 3 months he hasn't, but I think he will wear anything but the West Ham kit unless he's playing football. Yeah. In the sale, I just bought him a new goalkeeper's kit because he plays quite like goal.
Yeah, my £20 shirt came today, so that was all right. It was my late father's present, and my face mask as well. My West Ham face mask, club shop face mask when I go back when we play Chelsea. So that'd be fun. So I'll wear it, unlike other people wear them. As happened last time, but it's actually quite good. It's one that's you wear glasses like me. That's the only trouble I've had probably at the moment is my glasses keep steaming up when I put the face mask on.
Sadly, I took delivery yesterday of a very tarty William Morris one because it's the only one I could find that had tie backs. Yeah. The back to my head I've got big head and small ears, so I bought several masks that just pinged off. So I've got a sort of a one that ties up at the back from something called the Radical Tea Towel Company. They're absolutely beautiful. But I wouldn't have gone to that much trouble over a mask. It wasn't.
No, I know. I have incredibly small ears as well for my head, and it doesn't. The ones the temporary ones, the blue ones, I just can't. Don't like them. But I've got a couple now, so I've got so at least I'm in colours for when we go back to the home games again. We got Chelsea next week, so we'll see what happens. So obviously, George, from sort of the 70s onwards, there's lots of times, particularly happier times earlier on in your career in terms of West Ham career, in terms of victories and stuff. But is there any sort of key moments or key games or key goals or any sort of memories which stick out, which maybe not obvious ones, that of your time?
No, well, there's loads. I mean, I remember sort of going. I was at the Eintracht Frankfurt semi-final in '76, and that was my first night game. I've still got a scar on my lip where I fell forward onto a stanchion because I was sitting on, or fell off a stanchion. I was sitting on the south bank on a stanchion by my uncles, and we scored, to take us through at the final. And I went forward, I hit my face on somebody's shoe at the bottom, split me. But I was sitting cheering. I had this big long coat, which meant I couldn't sort of free my legs. Yeah. So that was a massive one. There's so many, but I think the the one I enjoyed most of all was 1986, the last time game of 86 against Ipswich when we won 2-1.
Yeah.
Mark Ward went down in instalments to win the penalty. Terry Butcher was absolutely furious. And when I was working for the BBC, we went to Turkey, and there was just a lot of hanging around because there was no England fans allowed there. So, and it was all, thankfully it's very, very peaceful, which gave us a lot of spare time. I was sitting and speak to Terry Butcher about it, and he was hilarious about how that little sod Mark Ward, well, they didn't say sod, and he talked about how he went in, he caved the referee's dressing room in, went in, got him by the throat off, because basically essentially relegated Ipswich in 86 as well. And we thought we were going to win the title, dancing on the pitch, it's like nothing, best feeling ever. And Doug Leishman has spoiled it at Chelsea at the weekend. So, just goes to show you can't trust Chelsea for anything. But it was a magic night because you just thought it was just very, very special.
Yes.
That kind of moment where you felt that, you were. It was like a little bit what it's like to be at the top table, really, because West Ham, we've had all those great players over the years, and as Harry Redknapp used to say, shows how crap the rest of them were. They couldn't win anything with 3 World Cup winners in the team.
Yeah.
But in that 86 time, it just felt magic. And I kind of thought we'd let it go. We had a bit of a stutter around Easter. But it was a great, great night. And I think it was either Wednesday or Thursday night. And there used to be a club in Ilford called the Shannon, which was right by Seven Kings Station, which is a sort of Irish club, Catholic place. And there used to be a DJ called Tony Littleleg, as you only get in these sort of places. And on the Friday after that, he played Bubbles at the end of the night. 2 o'clock in the morning, not all West Ham fans, didn't end well. And it was like, I was sitting there with my then girlfriend, sort of trying to pick up bits of broken glass and broken bodies to get back to the car to get home. So it was a time where we felt we were the centre of the world. That is probably my, it's just loads and loads of times. Sometimes just the regularity of going, it was. I moved from deepest Essex to Hornchurch when I was 14, and we lived opposite a district line station, Humberstone Bridge, so I didn't have to worry about anyone taking me or driving me. I could just jump on the tube, and then the old South Bank used to have the shelf on near the chicken run, and you used to have to get there at 1:30, and I did that all the time, until I started playing football again for the school. But you went there and you just. It was your day. It was your day. You go there, and you'd never. There people from Stratford, from Plaza, from all over. Because I went on my own, and very few of my mates at school were West Ham fans. But I enjoyed spending time and talking to people and talking about the game and just seeing top class football, either from us or from the opposition during that time. So it was just a great, great time.
Yeah.
And it's just that emotional connection, and just you think about the family time to time. Your dad promises you. I saying you're going on Boxing Day morning, and there's just loads and loads of fantastic. But the other one that really sticks in the mind is, I think, the 2003 playoff at home again against Ipswich, funny enough, where we lost away and we had to put it out of the fire, the pace talk gallop, and being played out there, and that was as shaking as much as I've ever seen that stadium. So a lot of those games, there's just obviously the last game as well. You just realise what you were losing. It's just incredibly difficult times. But I just loved it. I mean, it's contributed so much to my life. Yeah.
Well, it is. It has taken a big chunk of your life as well, isn't it? Where you think about when you started watching them and stuff, and it's only now when you look back at things like this type of sort of series. Really, I've looked back and realised how much West Ham sort of has, not emotionally, but how much West Ham has sort of played a part in my life. With like, as you said, you might have turned down jobs for West Ham and things like that. And it's weird how it sort of just gets in there. It just gets into the fabric of everything you do without realising, like osmosis. It
does, and but also, I talk about it a lot. When I went to university in 1986, I was, my accent was a lot broader than it was then, and you're trying to connect with people. The friends I had there, whether they were to do with, the course I was on, or the people I lived with, was involved with the radio station, or went to music gigs. The one thing they all had in common is they went to live football. That's very, very, you don't understand that in 1986, going live football was not a popular pursuit. The game was in decline. It was just after Heysel, before Hillsborough. Although it was a very, sketchy for a lot of people that looked down on people who went to football. But, those people now that are my friends from then are the people who went to football. There's a kind of a connection that you understand, pardon me, when you met another one like you. And that wasn't always the case, up there, and it was great. And I said, I was saying before we went on there that, one of my best mates from university was a Man City fan. I was at Lancaster. We used to go down there all the time because I just wanted to watch some football, and he was going. I thought, fine, excellent, we go and do that. And some of my best mates are Reading fans and Wigan fans, and people just went. They just sort of staffed about it as me. One of my mates, when Reading were in the 3rd division, when he was 16, did all 46 games home and away. It's like, that's just insane. That's Reading. So you have that connection when you meet people, even from different countries. So.
It's true. I mean, when I went to Loughborough, and my housemates, we were, that was the common denominator, was football, wasn't it? Really, that's how you became friends. And so, one was a Sheffield Wednesday fan, and so when we were playing Sheffield United at Bramall, he'd come to meet with me. We'd go away together, and I always had this sort of irrational hatred of Sheffield United before everything happened, because he was a Wednesday fan. So my other mate, he was Don Revie's grandson, so we'd go to Leeds quite a bit as well. But they'd come down as well for if I had to do a reserve team game and I had to do the announcing, they'd come and sit in the box at Upton Park. We'd be an hour and a half, an hour 45 drive down to the game. We're playing Fulham reserves or something like that, be 0-0. And then we'd drive in the car and drive the way back again, back to Loughborough. But it is what it was, wasn't it? And you said it brought everyone together.
It did. So you talk about Sheffield United. I mean, when I'm working in Stoke, and I was sharing a house with a Sheffield United fan. I just got back in contact because he's a primary school head teacher who's been all over the news. I just sort of thought, I know that bloke. And last time I saw him was 25 years ago in Stoke. And the first thing he said was, good job we didn't know you. Good job we weren't in contact in 2007, because that's when all the terror stuff blew up. And so we're gonna, if we do stay up, we'll hook up either here or in Sheffield next year.
Brilliant. Well, even if the worst happens and it doesn't, and we're not around in the Premier League, Neil Warnock's obviously still around, who's Middlesbrough boss now, isn't he? So we'll still have someone to shout. There's only one Carlos Tevez at. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's time we let it go a bit, really. I mean,
no, that's what made me laugh.
I don't know. Well, it's right. I mean, I think the trouble is, I think part of the things that. I don't know if you've seen the Damned United film where Brian Clough sort of throws all the pictures out of Reverie out and says, you can't keep looking back. I think that we've got to look to the future now. So we're in this new era, and I don't think we're killing it at all. We're just we haven't latched on to what this club is going to be in the 2020s. But,
you're right.
It's everybody says, when Mark Noble says this club isn't a circus anymore. Well, Fred Carno's been on the pitch for the last 5 years, and it's not looking great, is it? I think a lot of that is we can look back at the moments like Tevez, we can look back at the cup wins and whatever else, and convince ourselves that it's all okay, but it's not okay, is it? So.
Anyway, looking back.
Looking back.
Looking back at the whole point of my channel, thanks, George. So, as I said, one of the things we're doing this 11. So, okay, we'll deal with the future in a few games' time. We'll wait. Yeah, let's get this season out of the way.
Sure, no, that's absolutely fine. I mean, it's great to talk about the back, but I'm just talking about not so much.
I know. I'm just winding you.
It's about it's about the way the club sees itself. I think
true.
We're in an emergency at the moment, and it worries me.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
and as you said, it is proper squeaky bum time now. So, but it is what it is, it's nothing we can do about it now. So we just got to play with the cards, innit? Unfortunately, and I'm always the half glass filled person, but it's getting slightly less every game, slightly less my optimism. But we'll see what happens. Anyway,
there are 3 other terrible teams down there.
That is the only saving.
So there
grace.
are 3 other terrible teams down there, which is
and we are playing.
You tell me that I'll be.
Yeah, and we are playing two.
I'm basing my whole day and evening around make sure I'm back in time to watch Bournemouth against Wolves.
I
Because that's the
know.
most significant thing in my day today. So.
I know. And we are playing two out of those, or probably, well, including Watford. Obviously, we've got 3 games, haven't we? So we got obviously the Norwich and Villa and Watford. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, back to the Hammers 11. Yeah. So the idea is 11 players. Your 11 can be whoever you want to talk about, as long as you've seen them live. That's the only caveat. Yeah. Otherwise, we'd all put Bobby Moore in the team. And I haven't seen him, so it's fair enough. If my dream 11 would have Bobby Moore in, but my own 11, I wouldn't have. I haven't seen him play, so that's why I didn't put him in. And obviously for this, we did say you can do 4-4-2, you can do 3-5-2. It's up to you. I've given you an open brief, George, for this. Okay. That's why.
Well, what I've done a theme.
Oh, brilliant!
I've done a theme. The theme they should never have left West Ham.
Oh, I like it.
That means they should never have left West Ham for their benefit, or they should never have left West Ham for our benefit, or the way they left West Ham was disgraceful. They can decide which each of these go into it. So it's a 4-4-2.
Brilliant. Okie dokie. Right. Who's going to go in goal first? We'll go in goal then, George.
I think if you're looking at they should never have left West Ham, it's got to be Rob Green, who I think, you could argue, I think probably, if I was doing this on a completely objective thing, my love for Phil Parkes is unbound.
Yeah.
But I think in terms, Robert Green was a great goalkeeper for us and a great modern goalkeeper. He had great distribution. He was fantastically athletic. He won us games that we shouldn't have won. I probably loved Adrian more. I certainly loved Big Phil more, and I think he probably achieved more with us. I think Robert Green was a great, great goalkeeper. And it just goes to show how bad agents and bad decisions could ruin your career. Because he left us when he was 31. He said, "Oh no, I'm going to get a better contract." There was talk about Arsenal coming in, and they signed someone else. And in the end, we signed. I can't remember who we signed as replacement, but we signed a replacement. They came in, and so he went to QPR, played 2 games for Mark Hughes, lost the first one 5-0, and then instantly they bought Julio Cesar. And he spent, most of the next season getting splinters on his backside.
Yeah.
Obviously, that club, has been, from that moment, it's been an absolute basket case in the way it's been run at QPR. But he went there, then Harry came in, put him in and off the bench, but he never really fulfilled his dreams. He left us when he was 31, 32. Those are 3, for goalkeepers as well organised and as talented as Rob Green. They should have been his golden years, really.
Yeah.
Should have been playing for Champions, either for us or, if not, he should have gone for a Champions League club. And his own hubris brought him down, I think. And I think it's a real shame. I think it's a fantastic player. And I just wish he hadn't left us. It seemed, at the time I was thinking, whose interest is this? In whose interest is he? He hasn't got a nailed-down club to go to. You've got to go out and find another keeper. It's just insane. Yeah. So that'll be my number one. Rob
Good
Green.
chap. Yeah, I love it. You're totally right. He was a good keeper. I mean, he was a great. He said, Mark for good keeper when he wins games we shouldn't have won because of him, and he did that.
Yeah, fantastic record saving penalties as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and he was one of his real. I remember Phil Parkes had the longest throw I've ever seen. He could throw it not further than most people could kick it. But Robert Green was a very, modern, intelligent footballer. He understood the whole thing. If he would have been 5 years younger, Pep would have signed him for Man City because he's got that brilliant sort of distribution and that eye for, setting up attacks and stuff like that. So he was an all-round keeper.
Yeah, that's good. Player. Yeah, good player. And he didn't take himself too seriously in that respect. When we had the whole, England number 6 and stuff, and he took it in good art. Do you know what I mean?
Sort of stuff. He actually had England number 6 on his boots, didn't he? Or was it?
Yeah.
No,
it was
good embroidered into said life outside football.
I love it.
Life outside football. We went out for dinner with my wife once, and around 2010, and he was in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Tam was saying, "Can I speak to him?" I said, no, he looked like he was having. He looked like what he was, which was a bloke on a Friday or Saturday night out with half a dozen mates, having a perfectly sensible time. It was it was a decent restaurant. I respect the fact he was there because it's not really a footballer's restaurant.
Yeah.
And, he had life outside football. He had a bit of culture about him, and I thought, anyway, a sad loss to him and a disastrous move. Sad loss for us and a disastrous move for him.
And
Going to QPR was
the disastrous haircut he has now.
I know. Somebody said he looked like a midget gem, which I thought was quite fun.
That's a good shout. That's brilliant.
I was in work when I saw it. I took a photograph because I've got TV on my desk at work.
Yeah.
It was on Sky News.
Yeah.
And I sent it round to our West Ham group, and nobody worked out who it was or anything like that. It just, you do wonder what's going on inside that head, do you?
It does, yeah. It's
there's lockdown haircuts. There's lockdown haircuts.
Yeah, it's one of the most unusual lockdown haircuts we've seen. That's for sure. Right. Okay, I'll put Guarino in. Let's go left back then, George. Who do we have left back?
Left back. This is a kind of certainly one that we've got in my all-time 11, but it was Julian Dix.
Yeah.
A fantastic player. John Lyles signed. One of his last signings, I think, wasn't it? Really. But he came to us. Was a fantastic player from the moment he touched the ball. You could see, as well as having a physicality, he just had a fantastic skill. A man that should have played many times for England, but apparently, according to him, John Gorman said he'll never play where you got a skinhead like that, who was Hoddle's assistant. And he left and he went, he was lured away by Graham Souness because he thought he was his sort of player to go to Liverpool. And he may have been Souness' sort of player, but he wasn't Liverpool's sort of player. Souness got sacked because they got tanked early in there. Roy Evans didn't like him, stuck him with a 15-year-old. A terrible decision to move there. Managed to get himself injured again while he was up there. And again, a player that just shouldn't have left West Ham. He's a guy from Bristol, but whose entire life is in Essex now.
Yeah.
Grew up and sort of really adopted the club and had a connection with the fans that no other one did. You think about the players now. You look at that. Who on that pitch do I relate to? Mikel Antonio. Is he the only? Mark Noble. They're the only Londoners in that team, and they're Brits who grew up here, and they probably understand what it means to play for the club. I don't know who Mikel grew up supporting, but you don't think that there's any sort of lack of passion, lack of understanding what it means to pull on a shirt. And Dix was of that manner, combined with a fantastic talent. I think it was an absolute outrage. He didn't have 50 sister cats for England. He saw something rubbish being he could have been fantastic in things like Euro '96, but it was never meant to be. So that's my left back who should never have left us.
Good shout. Yeah, Julie did. Let's go right back. Right back, then, George.
I'll be interested to know if anyone else has said this. Sebastian Schemmel.
A couple, but carry on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Well, he was a fantastic player for one season, but I've never seen any player decline so fast. He won Hammer of the Year, was it 2002? Yeah. And then in 2003, he mentally just evacuated. Yeah. And I was looking him up for this, and we signed him from Metz, and I think the Metz president described him as being heroically unstable. And I think that obviously what was going on there, Harry got hold of him when he came over, and that first season, he connected and he slotted in. But then, whatever it was, whatever was ailing him at Metz clearly got to him again, because he looked like he'd gone from being Hammer of the Year to a player in about 3 months. It looked like he'd never played a game before. And I just wonder if he could have got there and sorted it out. Obviously, Roeder wasn't the greatest man manager, as we know from other places with other things that went on that year. But somebody could have been able to sort out that club, because after he left us, it was he went to Portsmouth, did nothing, and went to Le Havre, did nothing, and was tired by 29. For a man with that talent, you just don't understand how that happens. And I think that if we'd have kept him, I know it's a long shot, but if we'd have kept him, he'd maybe somehow we could have rehabilitated him, got him back to the heights he was before. Clearly, he had substantial off the field issues, and it's just one of the most mysterious players I've ever seen play for us. He was absolutely fantastic, disappeared, and fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I think it's because he cut his hair.
Yeah.
If I remember,
He did have the kind of
and then it went,
the late
and then
90s Alice band thing.
Yeah.
Going on.
No, yeah, he was.
Which all of us might be looking to adopt.
I would only wish, George. I would love to have worn an Alice band once in the last 4 years, at least. I reckon, maybe even less than that. At least 8 years since my daughter's come along. It's got
it's my son looks like Tim Burgess from The Charlatan. He's got a haircut down there, and we keep trying to say he needs to put something in it to hold it up and stuff like that. He won't let me cut it. Won't let my wife cut it. Anyway, enough about Alice bands.
Enough about Alice bands. Right, we'll put Seb in. Let's go centre backs then. George, who's your first centre back?
First centre back that would never left West Ham, James Collins, because I think that he had. I mean, I was surprised at how good his career at Villa was. Because I was looking it up. He had, I expect him to play, 50 games across 4 years, but he had a pretty good contribution there. But they just didn't like him. I don't know what it was. And there were several Villa fans, and I was absolutely. There's another player in this 11. I've got this big thing that there are certain players that fit certain clubs, and he may be Welsh, but he was made to play for West Ham. There's something about his commitment, his skill, his understanding. I remember when he was injured before he went to Villa, he would, he'd come away, and I saw him away at Arsenal last year, not the one just gone, but the year before, and he went away. I saw him in the stands at Stoke. When he was injured during his first spell. And he was just somebody who clearly fitted the club. He liked, maybe it's a combination of the club, the fans, living in the Essex countryside.
Yeah. That's all right.
He just absolutely fitted in. And I think from that point of view, we sold him to Villa for reasons, we weren't exactly over-blessed with centre-halves at that stage.
No.
But I don't know why, and he went to Villa, was there for 4 years, wasn't particularly loved, didn't really cut it, wasn't their superstar. He was in and out of the team, and then he came back to us, and it felt like a long lost relative coming home and fitting in. I'm not a great fan of people coming back. Dixie came back and I worked out, and others have come back, but a lot of people come back. You think about Yossi, you think about Joey, didn't quite work out for them. But he was one that definitely did. I think he almost had a longer career second time than he did the first.
Yeah.
And when the club were struggling with things such as the move and the atmosphere, the one thing that could get you going was a sight of Ginge running out, either coming off the sub or dying for it. Just because his complete commitment. There's a guy called, Hammerhead Shark, if you come across him. He's a great Twitter account who writes it, but he talks about how his big thing is always about West Ham's recruitment and retention and sort of bringing young players at the right time. I said, but Ginge is special. He said, no, he's not special. I said, yes, he is special. So that would be one of my centre backs. The other one would be Tony Gale, because again, the way he was let go at West Ham was absolutely shocking. He played for us for 10 years. He had a fantastic season with us, but he was let go while running out for his last game. He was told by Billy Bonds, he was told, make the most of it, mate, because it's your last game. We're going to release you at the end of the month. So he completely spoiled his last game. He never had the chance to digest it, never had a chance to soak up the atmosphere. And obviously he left, and he was going to go and I think he went to train with Barnet, and he got a call from Kenny Dalglish to go and play for Blackburn, where he won a league title. So, he won the Premier League with Blackburn, which is absolutely fantastic. But a shocker for West Ham. It was a few months after he'd had that nightmare at the where Keith Hackett sent him off at 1991 Cup semi-final, which I was there for. And, it just seemed like bad timing, bad darts, just bad everything. Billy was a fantastic servant. I think he got that one wrong. I think the club should have found a better way to, cherish somebody who played so long for us. And, stayed with us when we went down, came back up with us, and, was a top player.
Definitely. No, I agree with that. Yeah.
The other thing I know about him, I was looking again. You're poking around, find out these things. His name was Reggie. I didn't know why his nickname was Reggie, but according to Wikipedia, it's because his quicksilver wit reminded the other players of Reggie Cray.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Murderous gangster in East London.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I called him Red. Yeah, no, I didn't get that one either. I didn't get that one at all. Very weird. But
so that's my back five.
Yeah. Nice.
Green,
Okay.
Schemmel, Collins, Gale, Dix. And it may not be the best of the
Nice.
back five, but it's not a bad one, is it?
They'd all play for the shirt, wouldn't they? As
Yeah.
is the sort of the thing everyone's saying at the moment. They'd all play for the shirt, right? Okie dokie. And what was interesting about Collins, I was talking to someone today actually about James Collins, because they put Winston Reid in their team, and they said the thing is, I don't think Winston Reid. They was making comparisons to James Collins and saying James Collins was like a real West Ham cult hero, and Winston Reid wasn't because he didn't get because he's of his personality, being New Zealand, maybe not being as passionate. Where Ginge, he'd jump into Chav corner, wouldn't he, and throw his shirt in the crowd. And it's funny how as you said, being related to play, making players feel you can relate to them. And Ginge, as you said, because he was like a fan, so to speak, he'd go to the away games, he'd jump. It has that closer bond than someone maybe of Reed's, who's a fantastic centre back for us, and arguably again same year went down and stayed with us, and and it's just interesting sort of like the differences of people in terms of how they react with the crowd.
I've never thought there was any kind of lack of commitment from Winston Reid. But
No, not commitment, but I think it's a connection.
I mean, and also nobody who ever saw him score that goal against Millwall never doubt the fact that he was a fantastic player for West Ham. I mean, I think the problem with Winston is that they gave him a contract when he was injured.
Yeah.
And, wasn't the Bryce decision. He's on a massive contract. He's got no incentive to go anywhere else.
That's true. Yeah, exactly. And
again,
it was just interesting because it's like how different players connect with the fans, and it's not saying it's commitment, but it's his connection with the fans. Whereas Ginge, his connection with the fans is so strong that he could walk into any pub and everyone would buy him drinks. That's what I mean. Right? Okay, we'll put that's about five. Let's go into midfield then, George. Who's your left midfield then?
Well, it'll be a left winger.
Yep,
and it'll be Paolo. I think I put Paolo on the left wing. I think it's. Again, it's about the man of his leaving. He was, Paolo. There's a couple of players in here that would, 2 or 3 players that would get to my all-time West Ham 11 of this sheer ability. And Paolo's one of those. He's a guy that lifted the club. Nobody was quite sure what we were getting into when we bought him after the Paul Alcock thing where he pushed him over. But he was a fantastic, intelligent footballer. Committed footballer. His skills were like nothing I'd seen in years. Certainly not in the Premier League era. He's quick. He used to drive me nuts that a player with the quickest feet used to want to take all the corners rather than being in the middle and scoring them. But he was a fantastic inspiration as a man. And in the year we went down in 2003, something went badly wrong, where him and Rhoda clashed, and Rhoda decided to drop him. He was injured when he came back. He wouldn't play him, and I think that that pig-headedness by Rhoda, I don't know what it was all about, but it meant that it cost us. It cost us a generation of players. It cost us Cole, cost us Carrick. We could have had a fantastic team then, but we decided that that the back manager over to Canio, and obviously I can understand why they did that, but it was just such a stupid decision. And the way he was treating his last season was disgraceful, and we saw what we missed. And when he came back, and towards the end of the season, the Veronis got out of it. We did the double over the champions that year, both from Paolo, and he's sort of inspiration in that. We must be one of the few teams who've done a double over the champions and get relegated. And I think that shows what he offered. That shows what we ignored in that season, and it was an absolute disaster. And they won't renew his contract at the end, and if he'd have come down, he'd have played with us in the first division.
Yeah, didn't he? He pay for like a tenner. I know. Something he said something ridiculous he'd play for.
It was awful. It still grieves me now. And he went to Charlton, where a friend of mine happened to be working. And when he went there, it just shows the class of the guy. When he was driving there to sign, he phoned up the office and said, "How many women are there in the office?" And he was told, blah, 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 there's a dozen in there. They all got a bunch of flowers. They'd say, "This is from Paolo. Thank you for letting me come to your club." He went into the club shop, bought something for all his nephews and nieces and everything else like that. With the Canyon one, charmed everyone. He was so upset by leaving West Ham, determined to make an impact.
Yeah.
There's the same guy who doesn't work there anymore. Was telling me about how his job was to engage with local minority communities, and there was a Nigerian festival going on over somewhere in Thamesmead, and he took Paolo over there. He was supposed to sit there, open the festival, shake hands, go back to his his penthouse flat in Docklands. 2.5 hours later, he's got his Armani suit off, playing with basically all these fellas about 6'5" and big with it, and he's like, running around. He's sitting there, just like thinking, if our new most expensively paid player gets injured here, I'm going to be absolutely murdered. There's nothing he could do to get him off. His enthusiasm for the game, his infectiousness around. He just represents everything that's right about football at West Ham. And I think that that decision to go for a cheap manager after Harry is still costing us now, because I think that the legacy. What we could have had. We could have had the other great players for years and years, and the Defoes, the Coles, and everything.
Oh, definitely.
Else. And he could have been it's just sad. I think it was emblematic of everything that went wrong with the club in the early 2000s.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, and you just said, he was Paolo's Paolo, isn't he? Paolo's Paolo. It's like, I remember I interviewed Nicky Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV, and I say it's quite a lot, because when people talk to me about Paolo, because obviously he's infectious and his love for the club is still very, very apparent. And he was doing one of those player Q&A event things, and Paolo was the guest of honour. And he comes in, Nick in shirt and trousers, whatever. Paolo is obviously in his immaculate Armani suit, bronze, the Donis, the Ray-Bans. And he goes, Paolo, you look lovely. And he just turns him to Nicky and goes, I always dress up for my family. And that was it. That was it. And that's just Paolo.
It's my Zoom hold photograph.
Yeah,
is me and Paolo.
Yeah,
I met him at the Broadway last year with Willie Thorne and John Hartson, and it was just absolutely fantastic. He was, nothing was too much trouble, and obviously he's doing it to get a coin, but he was, like everything. It's like when he played, he just left everything out there.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we'll put PDC in on the left. Who's going to go on the right then, George? The other side.
Well, it's a slight forcing, but Michael Carrick.
Yeah,
because it comes into the whole idea of players that shouldn't have left West Ham.
Yeah,
and I think we were one penalty decision away from him staying. Because in the 2004 playoff final against Palace, when that ocean going line and Neil Shipley scored for them.
Oh.
The fastest man ever to score for. I'm not a man at all, but then towards the end of the second, and we were just so much the better team that day.
Yeah,
we tried, and then it was and Carrick just got brought down on the edge of the area. It was in the area. It was going, and we didn't get a free kick, didn't get a penalty, anything. My wife was watching her Millwall brothers. And they were going, ha, 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 it was a penalty, blah, blah. And, he would have got that penalty, but had gone on to win that and go up. Carrick stayed with us the year we went down. He said he'd give us another year to get back up. And, that it was just such a shame that he left, because apart from anything else, he went to Spurs. And he was just a fantastic talent. I always felt like apologising, because when they both came through, me and Mark Sandell had a bet, a pint, and who would be the first to play for England out of Carrick and Cole. And I, was sure it was going to be Joe Cole. And he said Carrick, and the more you saw Carrick play, you more to realise he was just such a fantastic, well-organised passer. I just actually loved watching him. And Joey and Carrick came on at half time against Mexico together, so all honour was restored, and no honour was damaged in the making of despair. So, but he was just such a fantastic player. He clearly loved the club, and I think that you see this. You remember the scrawny little teenager, and it's just shown to grown into be such a fantastic man who carried Man United through some very difficult times.
Yeah.
And if we'd been able to hang on to him, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even now, when I don't do a lot of DJing nowadays for families, but I do it with family and friends. Even if someone requests Glad or Over, I still don't play it. It reminds me of that day. There were all those yellow shirts bobbing to Glad. Oh, still makes.
Well, we were down with a friend of mine and Mark's, who's a Palace fan. Gary and he was too embarrassed to celebrate because he knew how crap they were that day. And I was very glad because my mate at Charlton, we were away on the last day of the season the following year, and I went to see Charlton relegated, Palace relegated at Charlton.
Yeah.
And it gave me an immense amount of pleasure. We saw them go up and we saw them go down as well. My wife's actually a Charlton fan as well, so not particularly committed, but she always used to like to go for a day out. So we saw them go up and we saw them go down. I was very happy with that.
Good. All right, that's good. Right, let's go into central midfield then, George. Who's your first central midfielder?
Mitch Pyatt. Yeah, we talk about players that should never have left. What a shambles that whole thing was. Player of the year, player of the Euros, then absolute implosion when we moved to the Olympic Stadium. I won't blame the Olympic Stadium for this one, but we all know what was supposed to have gone on in the background and why he had to move back to Marseille. But the way he dealt with this, the way the club handled it, the way his agents handled it, there was just nothing positive about that whole situation when he went back. And it goes down to the fact that when we get to these kinds of players in difficult situations, we should have been able to handle it better and keep that guy playing. Because he didn't. He started off brilliantly. He had that Rabona against Watford on the in the second season. Then it all just went to crap and he was off. I just think that it grieves me as much as anyone else really, because he was the best player we've had since Di Canio. He had absolutely fantastic ability, and he again he's one of those players that seemed to shine at West Ham. He was a good player in France, but he was never seen as being
the man.
The man, and that he was. He was on the fringe of the French team. He was first choice by the time he had a season with us. So again, a player that connected with the fans and sort of liked playing here, but his own personal circumstances and the way he conducted himself led to him going for cut price free. He had a crap time back in Marseille. It hasn't worked out for him, and now we lost a great player. So Dimitri Payet is my first centre midfielder.
No props. And who's your
in
next
terms
one?
of leaving? The other one is Billy Bonds. Not because of the way he left as a player, but because of the way he was dealt with when he left as a manager.
Sure.
I can't imagine having a team about West Ham with Billy Bonds in there, because it was he was there when I was in primary school. In fact, he was there. He signed about a month after I was born, and he's still playing when I was when I left university. It's absolutely madness. He was able to put it for so long. Anyone who doesn't like or does bad things out against Billy Bonds is automatically wronging in my book. And I think that I remember Mick Harford saying he didn't want to join West Ham because he didn't want to play for a team that's reliant on a 41-year-old. And I've never forgiven him. I would still spill his pint if I saw him in a bar. He was just such a fantastic player for us. Our all-time leading appearance guy who risked his health, his body more times than anyone else. He turned up for West Ham, just being an absolute superstar. And we don't need to go over the details of what happened, but when he was let go as manager in 1994, it seemed nonsensical. And I can see what people try to do. I can see it might have been the right thing to do. But the manner that defines you is the way you do things, isn't it? And how you make people feel about things. That West Ham have always been bad about keeping on club legends and looking at Bobby Moore famously had to pay to get back into West Ham once because they weren't sending tickets, and I think the way they treated Billy at that time was the same. Now, obviously, he's got a stand named off, which is fantastic, but it still doesn't make up for that time. I mean, I remember a couple of years after that happened, I was in the press box for some reason. I think I might be doing a club call with Chris Raystrick actually, and we went into the press box after the press conference, and Harry was giving his press conference, and suddenly noticed that Billy was standing at the back, standing on a chair right at the very back, just looking at him. No, not being particularly, just looking at him, and Harry was completely put off his stride by that. Billy was working for Capital or something like that, and it was just like, oh, this is a bit of a moment, isn't it? But Billy Bonds, it's great. I'm very proud to sit the Billy Bonds stand. I think I love Trevor Brooking with all my heart, and Bobby Moore and everything else, but to sit the Billy Bond stand is a real pleasure for me.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Makes perfect sense. Nice. Okay, we'll put Billy in, and let's go for the strikers, the forwards. Then, George, who's your first forward?
Tony Cottee.
TC.
A great player for us.
Yeah.
But the way he left and the way he conducts himself in his last few games, and the fact he went on to go and win trophies and won absolutely nothing at Everton, has always given me a fantastic sense of schadenfreude. Sorry, Tony, if you're watching. I think you're a fantastic bloke. Yeah, you moved near me where you got into the first team, just up the road in Hornchurch. Next to Drury Falls School, he had a flat in there in his first one, and he bought another one over the bitter end in Romford. But I just think that I remember seeing his head go down and not wanting to be there before he went to Everton. And it's always upset me, thinking about that. And he came back. I think we gave him too easy a ride when he came back. Because, he did came back slightly as a conquering hero. But he went away for 6 years. He was his last season or his second last season at Everton. They were lucky to stay up. Yeah. And it was always a massive district. I'm going to Everton. It's going to be a massive club. I'm going to win the European Cup. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It never happened for him. So he shouldn't have left West Ham. Still a fantastic player. I was delighted when he came back, and he showed full of enthusiasm. But he's a man who's in, again, another player he has got West Ham running through his blood. But he was born into it, unlike Ginge, and unlike my final player. But he didn't do it right.
No.
He didn't do it right.
No. Yeah, I think by his own admission, obviously we've interviewed him, and he did say that. He did say, probably he left in the wrong way. And you're right. I mean, what is it about Everton and play? Obviously, Slav, didn't he? Slav went to Everton to win trophies and won bugger all as well. Something about Everton.
There was a fantastic slight Slav thing about that transfer. We were playing Wimbledon at Selhurst, and he was playing, and a mate of mine who's an AFC fan said, "Do you want to come to the Players' Lounge after?" No, well, he is an AFC fan. He died last year, but he said, "Do you want to come to the Players' Lounge?" And obviously, what didn't realise that the Players' Lounge at West Ham, the Players' Lounge at Selhurst Park was a slightly different matter. Because basically, it was just a bar. It was just an enormous nightclub bar. So I was in there with him, and suddenly the West Ham players walk in expecting to have a chat. Whoever it was then, let's say, I don't know, Dennis Wise, whatever else. Yeah. It wasn't but that. Basically supported by West Ham, and a couple of players started going up to Slav. So what are you doing? What are you doing trying to get a move to Everton? He goes, "It's not me, it is my agent." He goes, "Well, tell your agent." He's just like, and he just like goes, "Oh my God, I'm a hard man, but this isn't a great place to be at." But Everton, it's been our nemesis a long time.
It has been.
But I think that Cottee transfer was a long part in us getting relegated.
Yeah,
he left us in September, which meant we had to scratch around. We ended up with David Kelly, who was, you speak to my Newcastle mates, he's a legend, but he certainly wasn't for us. And it was a bad do all round, in my book.
Okay, yep, good shout. Okay, we'll put TC in. And who is the last piece of the man puzzle? Who have we got?
Again, that player that surprisingly, we get into my all-time 11, a player I absolutely loved. And it is, I think it's about, people always say your favourite music is when you're 15, 16, 17.
Yeah. And
David Cross was my favourite player when I was 15, 16, 17. He never won Hammer of the Year, but he had a fantastic record for us. He joined just during the season we got relegated, but we were in the second division. He was absolutely fantastic. He, you always gave you belief when he was on the pitch. I always assumed he was like Peter With size, but I saw him a few years ago. He was only about 5'9" or 5'10", so he's not a big fella, but he was strong. He was fierce. He was competitive. And we loved him and he loved us. I think that when he left, I think it was an absolute disaster. And he was scoring just under 1 in 2 for us.
Yeah.
And he went on to play for Man City and a couple of other clubs. He never really got it. And I told you, my friend at university, what we really bonded on was our continuous rows that have gone on over the last 34 years about David Cross, because he always claims that Cross was a donkey. And we had these rows almost on our first night at university in 1986, and we're still having them on WhatsApp now. Because I got I got a T-shirt of David Cross. There was a sort of Cult Heroes or Cult Zeros website. You can put your favourite player on there. The picture of Cross, I got it in there, and I went to the Black Lion wearing it, and it's like people of a certain age just went a bit quiet, thinking, "Oh, what one of those? That's fantastic!" And we started talking about what a player David Cross was, and there is if you're, I don't know if you've done Nigel Khan for any of these.
Yes.
Again, he's exactly the same. He makes my adoration of David Cross look minimal. He's tracked him down. He's done interviews, he's done YouTube videos with him and stuff like that. I know he's done. I haven't watched this one yet, but he just if you're watching West Ham as a teenager during when he was playing 77 and 82 or 83, whenever he left.
Yeah.
You always thought you had a chance. You always thought you had faith. And you always thought that whatever happened, he would go down fighting if we lost. So a tremendous player, and he shouldn't have left us because Man City didn't deserve him, and you should have seen his career at West Ham. I loved him.
Yeah, and he's a lovely guy. We've had him on the channel,
he
David.
I met his daughter a couple of times. Who's Kate Cross, who's England international cricketer now.
Yeah,
and she's doing, she's going to end up being a sort of a superstar broadcaster. She's got it. It means, but to be a broadcaster, she's funny, she's clever. You get the sense that she grew up in a very, very, good household.
And
the love that she got from her family had made her into sort of brilliant all-round person.
Yeah, I agree.
She's great, and I think a gift to cricket fans like me from David Cross. I think, his son, is one of the record scorers in the Lancashire League. So he's obviously got a big sporting family going on up there.
Definitely. Yeah, no, Kate, she had to sort out David's Zoom when we interviewed him, which was really sweet. He was lovely. He was lovely guy, and that's completed the team nicely, George. Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much for your time. There's a lot of thought got into that. I appreciate that. I love it when people put a bit of background. Take their time, and that's really, really good. And a different theme as well, which was nice as well. It's really good. Yeah. Thank you, George. And it's been great sitting in on the Zoom calls as well, the Zoom watch-alongs. I like it. It's great.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, there's hopefully we might get to win.
Yeah, we'll be all right. I
don't know.
Chelsea out the way, and I think we'll be all right then from then on. That's my.
I fancy us against Chelsea. Actually, I always do.
I do. We've got a week. It's not like the players have had a rest or anything for the last 3 months, but they've got a week to sort themselves out.
Well, what do you know about what's happening with Haller? Snodgrass said he's gone for the season.
I think I have no. I imagine I don't have any clue, but for me, I think Haller would. I think they didn't think he'd be back for Tottenham anyway, and Og as well, and they could both be back for Chelsea. So who knows?
We live in hope.
We don't know. We live in hope. We live in hope. We're West Ham fans. That's all we do. We hope for a brighter future. Anyway, George, thank you so much. And obviously, thanks to everyone for watching. Like, share, subscribe, do all that type of stuff. Comment, make notes. Anyone else you want me to interview, let me know, and I'll try and get them on. And until next time, for me and George, take care, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you all very, very soon. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.